Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks so much for tuning in. The theme of this episode is updates only. My cats are in the room for this one and I don't know if I'm going to have to kick them out soon. I never let them in because she just went inside that drawer. Okay. They always are doing something that is just like bothering me when I'm trying to film. Like, they don't bother me, but then when I'm trying to film, they do. And these girls are about to fight, and I just know it. Good girls. They were both just like licking Frank, and it looked like a throuple. Like, it was crazy. But, anyways, let's get into the episode. The title of the first story is I, 22 female, just found out my late half sister, 40 female, is still alive. I'm flipping shit, you guys. My sister and I hadn't been close at all given the age difference. The fact that she lived across the country and the parent that we share was horrifically abusive towards me. Still, when she was diagnosed with cancer in 2013, I helped by sending her some money here and there. She ended up getting a lot worse, and when I dropped out of college for unrelated reasons, I worked several jobs so that I could help her out a lot more financially. I got the news that she passed away summer of 2016 and was invited to attend the service, although I couldn't because I wasn't able to get off from work. Fast forward to today when I get a request from her social media account, and looking through her posts, she's not only alive, but way better off than I am. I'm glad she's not dead, but what the hell? I haven't said anything to her because I'm not sure A, how to confront her about it, and B, what I even want. I don't think I want to have a relationship with her given what went down, but mostly my mind is reeling and I'm trying to make sense of it. I would be contacting her immediately. Why did she fake her death? I was trying to think of like ways that it could have been not her that did it, but like, I don't know. I feel like if she wasn't the one that faked her death and it was someone else that just told you that, I feel like she would have reached out to you. I mean, I'm sure there are, I don't know. I'm so confused. I'm wondering if like, maybe someone told her that she was dead and then told her that she was dead. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of any other way that it could possibly be not her making that, because that's just awful. Someone commented, who told you the news that she passed away? Was it possible someone told you that without her knowledge? OP said her husband called to tell me. And then someone said, did your half-sister know that her husband did this? And she said, no idea. I haven't worked up the courage to talk to her yet. Ooh, I'm so nervy. Okay, there's a comment from OP, and they said, honestly, the thing that hurts me the most is the recent holiday pictures with our father. When we reconnected after the diagnosis, we had this huge heart-to-heart about abuses he inflicted on us, as well as him being the reason for our distance. Even if it turns out to be a huge misunderstanding, I don't know how much of a relationship I would want because I don't want to invite him back into my life, even just by association. Edit, lots of perspective here. It looks like the only thing I can do is talk to her, but I'm still just not there yet. Judging by the pictures on the account, the cancer was real. There are a lot of pictures of her in the hospital and her recovery process afterwards, and through the time she was supposedly dead. There are a lot of recent pictures with abusive parent and his new family as well, and I don't know what to think. It was her husband who broke the news to me, and I didn't think to ask for proof because, well, who thinks of that at a time like that? She hadn't talked to me for a while because she said she hadn't been feeling well, and my only contact with them at this point was with them. Okay, so there's an update, and it's 10 days later. My sister, who I was told passed after a battle with cancer, added me on social media. After going through her profile, it was clear that it was definitely her. You guys encouraged me to talk to her and find out what happened. It took me a bit to come up with the will to do so, but I finally did. I sent her a very short but polite message saying that I was glad that she seemed to be doing very well, but I was confused because I had been told that she died. Apparently, our father told her that I was a huge source of negativity and that it was unhealthy for her to have me in her life while she was going through the cancer. She told me she didn't believe that, but that he offered to pay for her treatments and such in full if she just cut contact with me forever, and they came to the conclusion together that it would be better for me if I thought she was just dead. She told me that she was reaching out now because he had given her permission to, as he felt I was in a better place now. I was pretty furious when I read that, especially since I'd been helping her out financially and in pretty significant amounts. I know how stressful medical bills are and how much of a relief it would be if someone offered to completely take care of mine, but at the same time, I hate that our relationship had a price tag. We grew pretty close, at least I thought so, even commiserating about how awful that man had made our lives, but he was able to just swoop in so easily and manipulate us again. I didn't know what to say at first, so I let myself cool down, talked about it with my partner, and then ultimately decided to let her know that I appreciated her telling me the truth and that I'm glad she's well, but that I'd prefer if we didn't talk much going forward, as I was still really hurt about what she did, and that I didn't want any avenue for our father to have any contact, much less control over my life.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly can see like both sides. Like, I can understand being in a position of like having cancer and feeling like I don't know what her cancer was like or whatever, but still, like, I feel like having cancer no matter what is like such a scary thing. So I can understand why it would be, you're so vulnerable in that place when you have cancer. I've never had cancer, obviously, but I can imagine how vulnerable you would be and like how desperate you would be for help if someone were to offer you help. So I feel like I can see both sides. Like, I can understand why OP wouldn't want to talk to her, and then I can also understand why she would want to take the money to not have to think about having to pay for her treatments, because that's like such a stressful thing. And yeah, so I don't know. Someone said, OP, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. You handled this amazingly, though. You are more thoughtful and mature at 22 than your sister is at 40. One thing I wanted to point out, though, quote, he felt I was in a better place now. Was he just pulling this out of his ass, or does he have some way of keeping tabs on you? You might want to look into this and see how he's getting information about your life. OP said, that thought sent chills down my spine. I think he's just making things up because there haven't really been any changes of note in my life. I don't know. The way that I see it, like, I totally get where she's coming from. I would do the same. I wouldn't want to talk to her anymore, because that's like, so it's really messed up to her. But then if I'm also going to put my feet, what? If I'm also going to put what am I saying? If I also put myself in her shoes, okay, in the sister's shoes, it's like, I don't know, would that be considered like financial abuse? Like, I don't know, financial manipulation? I don't know. I feel like I understand both sides. I get it's really, really fucked up and unforgivable to fake your death, okay? So don't get me wrong about that. But then again, like, the sister was also going through cancer and maybe felt like she had no way out. I don't know. The top comment says, how does someone think faking their death isn't acceptable? Ask and comply. Someone said, pretty much guaranteed way to cut off a support system. OP was offering limited but still meaningful support. Daddy can't have his daughter relying on someone other than him. So he comes up with the most isolating way of cutting off support, by making the victim tell a lie that will make sure they stay isolated. I'm just shocked the daughter went along with it instead of slyly letting OP know what was going on, so OP wouldn't take it personal when the contact stopped. The even more shocking thing is that OP's sister's husband broke the news to OP, not the abusive dad, not the older sister because she died, the husband. That father must have had some huge amount of power over both his daughter and her husband, because he's playing it along while the sister and father kept their hands clean. Yuck. And then someone said, just one of my husband's chemo meds was almost $40,000 a month. Most of his medications were around $1,000 a month, and he couldn't live without them. Eliquis is an $800 script without insurance. The procedures were probably close to $100,000. Thankfully, Medicaid ended up covering it all. We had to make sure some adjustments were done to our household, but we got it. It would take weeks for every medical/procedure to be approved, which was frustrating on so many levels, especially when dealing with such a short time frame. Crippling debt can be a significant motivator, especially at a time when everything else seems to be fighting you as well. It's easier to cave and have someone else cover those bills than to face reality otherwise. See, that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, I can only imagine the financial stress that she was in, like chemo or anything cancer related. Honestly, quite frankly, anything medical is already such a burden, like, financially. So I can understand why you would be easily manipulated and like even if it's something so serious as to faking your death. Sometimes when you're in a time of extreme need, you're not thinking logically. You're just thinking about like one day at a time, what's going to help me now, like survival instincts, you know? So that's my take on it. We're going to move on to the next story, and the title is I Told on My Mom's Married Boyfriend and Ruined My Life. My mother started having an affair with a married man, Bruce, over 10 years ago. My dad left her over it, but she stayed with Bruce with the promise of him divorcing his wife soon. Spoiler alert, it never happened. After 10 plus years of knowing my mother was the other woman, and after stalking Bruce's wife on socials, I couldn't take it anymore. He's a creepy man that no one in my family can stand, including my 3 other siblings. We've been tasked all these years to keep her dirty secret and treat Bruce as if he's not an adulterer. I, quote, took one for the team and sent some anonymous emails out to some contacts I found through social media. Bruce's wife responded to me and asked to speak as she had no idea any of this was going on, which I highly suspected despite Bruce's lies all of these years. So I sat down and phoned her. We talked for almost 3 hours. She's a nice woman who was nothing but kind to me. She's been married to Bruce for 30 years and had no idea he had a double life. His job allows him to travel frequently. I answered all her questions during this combo, though. I knew my relationship with my mother was over. I knew the details would get back to her and would pinpoint to me. Bruce's wife thanked me over and over and shared that she would be divorcing Bruce once she got her finances in order. It was a very emotional conversation, and I'll never forget the sound of her cries as I told her all the details. The next day, I was completely cut off from my mother. I had no way of contacting her, and shortly after, the harassment of my family members came flooding in. Messages of disgust towards me and support towards my mother. Everyone turned on me and will no longer speak to me. I can't imagine she's telling them the truth of what I did. I told on her married boyfriend. I'm shocked my family has chosen her side and abandoned me. Sometimes regret washes over me, but in the end, all I did was speed up the inevitable. And I did it for my siblings who couldn't stand his presence anymore. I thought it would get rid of him, but it backfired. Not only are Bruce and my mother getting married, my siblings chose her side and have cut me off. This weighs heavy on my chest. It did for the last 10 years, and now because of what I did, it will continue. Thanks for reading and letting me get it out. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Your siblings cut you off? There has to be something that she's telling them that's not true. There has to be. Because there's no way. There's no way. There's an edit and it says, thank you to all the supportive comments. I have a few people in my corner rooting for me, but these comments have been comforting and therapeutic. The number of family that turned on me, I truly started to worry I was the problem and made a mistake. To answer some questions, money is a huge factor in all this, which is why my mother/siblings are so angry and not thanking me. I'm my mother's oldest daughter. Only my youngest sibling lives with her. We are all adults. I have 2 young children my mother has thrown to the curb for Bruce. They will never know who she is. I'm in contact with the wife. She is a lovely woman who is aware of how this all unfolded and has been so kind to me. I like to think in another life that we would be friends. I've spent a lot of time putting together proof for her so she can get what she deserves out of the divorce. Keeping in touch with the wife angered Bruce and my mother so much, so they told my family I was harassing the wife. That fueled the fire more for my family to hate me. To the few that have commented I should have minded my own business, I wish this was never my business. What a laugh. Those people saying you should mind your own business, okay, well, how about what if it were you? Would you be thankful if someone told you that? Yeah, because I would. Sometimes doing the right thing is not minding your own business, like letting that just happen. And no. Okay, 14 and a half months later, there's an update. It has been 18 months since I blew my family life up by tattling on my mother for being the other woman for 12 plus years. 18 months of a smear campaign against me that has turned all of my family except one sister and close family friends against me. Even my grandparents who basically raised me. Bruce's wife and I still keep in touch every few months. She has gone through way worse than I have. Her life was a lie, and she struggles daily to comprehend everything that has happened. I feel so much shame that my mother is half responsible for this woman's heartbreak. She still has been nothing but kind to me. The big question that remained unanswered for 18 months, why did my family alienate me? What lie did my mother and Bruce tell that made them not even give me a chance to speak? The truth is that I told on my mom's married boyfriend and blew up their vacation mode relationship. But we all know that couldn't be what she was telling people. Every night I would lay awake wondering what it was that she said about me, and I finally got the answer a year and a half later. My mother told everyone that I was a drug addict, that I was affected cognitively from drug use. None of you know me, but I am not a drug addict. My family believed that lie without question, because who would lie on their own child like that? She had to say a lie so far from the truth that no one would question her. So there it is. The damage is done from all ends. My family thinks I'm a drug addict, and I'll never forgive my family for believing that and turning on me. I pled with so many of them. I sent them the entire story from start to finish, and no one broke and came to my side. I will never forgive my mother. So much has happened these past 18 months, and it's all her fault. She almost broke me, but thankfully, I have an amazing family of my own that I created, a husband and 2 daughters, and amazing in-laws. My sister and I have never been closer. We are healing together. The only thing I wish now is for my mother to stop smearing me. My husband deployed for 6 months, and she actively lied on me to people that would come and help me during that time to try to isolate me further. There is no limit to her mental torment. My mother will always be my biggest bully. Going no contact with a narc parent is so hard. Don't let any old hag out there tell you, quote, it's their first time living too. It's your parent at the end of the day. I am her child, and she chose an ugly, balding man over me and 2 amazing granddaughters. Will always be her loss. Thanks again for letting me get it off her chest. T. Period. Clock it. Literally, first of all, why would your family turn on you for being a drug addict? I'm sorry. That says a lot more about them than it does about you. Like, even if you were, they haven't experienced it themselves. I understand cutting off someone if, like, they're, you've tried to help them in their drug use, and time again, like, it just ends up being too much for you, and mentally you have to, like, take a step back from that person. I understand that, but they just heard a rumor that you were a drug addict and cut you off immediately. That's crazy. If I heard that rumor about my family member, I would be like, hey, is there anything I can do to help you? Being addicted to drugs is not just like a fun thing that somebody chooses to do. It's a literal disease, and no matter what, like, I just don't understand. Your family is just like, yeah, okay, you're right, she is, even though I've never, ever, ever had any ounce of proof that she is, but I'll just believe you and take your word for it. What? That is crazy. The top comment says, I'm confused by the actions and choices of so many people involved in this story. I probably shouldn't be, but they may as well be from another species. It makes so little sense to me. Someone said, if it makes you feel any better, so am I. Mostly the extended family's behaviors, if I'm being honest. Out of their whole collective, no one changed their tune, even once the actual proof was released. Then again, despite the mom's lying, cheating ways, the OP was still blindsided by this betrayal, not to mention surprised about the lies. For everyone to accept them so readily, it makes me think her mom's been spreading lies about OP for years. Probably. And I so second her saying, like, it's their first time living too, and it's your parent at the end of the day. Second that, because people will always be using that as an excuse. Like, well, it's their first time living too. Okay. And they can do their first time living without me, and I'll do mine without them, because that does not excuse abusive behavior. Okay, we're going to move on to the next story, and the title is, I, 25 female, begged for an open relationship. 8 months in, he leaves me. 8 months ago, I, 25 female, asked my partner, 28 male, for an open relationship, as I got bored with him. Nothing wrong, but he just didn't excite me much. And he agreed, but he proceeded to tell me that there's a catch. Quote, if he catches feelings for a partner, he's going to leave me for her. And that's exactly what happened, and I want him back in my arms. He left me for his new partner, 28, 29-ish female. What can I do to win the love of my life back? Sorry, that was crazy. I got bored with him. He just didn't excite me. And now I want the love of my life back in my arms. I would say just move on, honestly. I understand getting bored in a relationship. It's going to ebb and flow. You're not going to be like so obsessed all the time. Like, there's going to be times where you're focusing on yourself more, whatever, it's like, it's a life partnership. But I feel like, how long did you guys date for? Like, I'm so confused. because people always think the grass is greener, and it's like, no, you're going to end up in that same exact position with another relationship. Like, you just have to realize that a relationship isn't going to be like butterflies and rainbows and like it is always at the first part of your relationship, and you have to really put in effort after being with someone for a while, or like if things get a little bit stagnant, like you have to put in effort to make things fun and exciting again. It's not just going to naturally be like that for the rest of your life. You think you're going to stay with someone for 60 plus years and never get bored? Like, you're going to be bored sometimes, and you're both going to like fall into habits of like not really spending as much time together, or maybe acting like roommates or friends. And then guess what? It gets better because you put effort in and you try to make things better. You don't just say, hey, actually, you're boring and you don't excite me. Bye. Like, I don't think that's like a good reason to get into an open relationship. I feel like yeah, I don't know, whatever. 3 days later, there's an update. Probably nobody asked for this, but here's an update. I was kicked out of his house last Sunday. That's 6 days now, and I excruciatingly miss him. I will do anything to get him to return to me, but he looks happy on social media with his new partner that I'm pretty sure he was cheating on me with. Anyways, I tried calling him. No answer. I saw him in public, and he pretended to not even know who the F I was. He won't acknowledge my existence. So I went to our former place just to talk, and things got hostile. His new girlfriend hates me for some reason. I don't even know her, and she proceeded to try and attack me while he tried to split us up and get me out of the door. When he had his back turned, she maced me, and now he's trying to file a restraining order on me. What the hell did I do wrong? She attacked me and pepper sprayed me. How can I convince him he's dating a psychopath? Sorry, I don't know if this is a real story or not, but I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He's dating a psychopath? You went to his house and he broke up with you. Like, girl, please. Just leave him alone and like work on yourself, honey. He's not dating a psychopath. Maybe she like I don't know. I mean, you can't just show up to someone's house. It is kind of crazy 3 days later though. Like that was a quick turnaround. 1 week later, update 2. My ex followed through with his restraining order on me. This will probably be the last update. The restraining order has been filed, and I'm not allowed within 100 feet of my ex Harry and his new girlfriend Jess. I'm planning to move back to my home in Arizona and start over. They're happy, and I just want to find peace within myself. Thanks for everyone's advice and opinions. Yes, I was already in therapy, and I still am in therapy. Please, anyone my age or younger, listen to my advice. TikTok is not cool. Please delete it. It's done me nothing but harm, and other people's stupidity can really poison your minds, and I'm living proof. Thank you. Take care. What? What in the heliante? Can you please give some more detail? Please, anyone my age or younger, listen to my advice. TikTok is not cool. Please delete it. I mean, I do agree that social media can harm you, but like, come on. Other people's stupidity can really poison your minds. Girl, go outside and read a book or touch some grass or something. Like, it's not the other people's stupidity that is the problem here. Okay, someone commented, to recap, you wanted an open relationship. He said yes, but told you if he felt a connection with someone else, then he would do the right thing and break off your relationship rather than have an emotional affair. You agreed. He felt a connection with someone and realized you're insane. He was upfront with you that he wanted to end things. You blame wanting the open relationship on your ADHD because you were bored. You then try to claim he cheated when you're the one that wanted the open relationship. You went to his house to start a fight. When you wouldn't leave their place, she rightfully maced you and asked you to leave. You call her a psycho, even though you're the one that harassed them constantly. You think he was wrong for getting a restraining order against you, even though you're the aggressor, and you're now blaming TikTok for your actions. Did that sum it up? Commenter, someone else said, this all started because TikTok told you to open your relationship. Honestly, though, I hope you're able to build yourself a solid mental foundation before falling into another relationship. No, I'm dead at that recap. And I don't even know what they're talking about for the ADHD parts. I'm assuming someone said, she said, well, I only got bored because of my ADHD. My mind's not on him all the time. Him as a person has never bored me. I gave him sex a lot because I thought it would make things better. It's not on my boyfriend. It's on ADHD. How about it's just on you and you need to like take time to heal and maybe get a better therapist, girl. I can't with the constant deflecting. I'm actually dead. Like, not that it's on ADHD. It's not anyone's fault but ADHD's. Like, I can't believe it. The last update, they're all so short, but this is the last update and it's more than 2 years later. It's been 2 years. I've tried to stay offline and live life, but my ex and his now wife find new ways to live in my head rent free. I wanted an open relationship. So what? You don't just string me along for 8 months, get some new girl who you met through me, and then marry her. This isn't fair. She's living in my home with someone who should be my husband, and he's been renewing the restraining order ever since it first expired, and I know he's going to keep doing it because for reasons beyond my knowledge, the man hates me. FML. 2 years later, and she's still blaming everyone else other than herself. I'm actually dead. I don't know why this is comedy to me. Someone said, whatever therapy she's done is not enough. Yeah, whatever therapy she's done, she needs to get a refund for immediately because that's insane. Like, what is her therapist telling her? Is her therapist like feeding her own delusions or something? I'm so confused, actually. That's actually hilarious. Okay, we're moving on to the advice slash confessions section. So, if you ever want unprofessional advice from me or if you want to leave a confession, we have two ways that you can do so. There's a Google form in the description and you can fill that out, or there's a number that you can call and leave a voicemail to. It's 561 264 7017. You can only leave 3 minutes at a time. So, if you have a longer story than that, just call back. It will cut you off at 3 minutes and you'll have to call back. Okay, let's listen to this voicemail.
Hi, Miss Jamie. First off, I wanted to ask if you could just distort my voice. This story is the longest story of my life, so I'm gonna try to shorten it to my best abilities. Really, I'm asking for help or just like advice. I love your channel. I'm the oldest like sister, so I love your big sister energy, and yeah. So first, the story starts off is that my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and it was it was a whirlwind. So, and at the same time, I'm living with my roommate and my boyfriend. So, so we've had several arguments in the past, and they kind of all boil down to just like her not thinking. The main one, before this whole before the real pivotal moment was that my sister was coming down to my house. We live probably like an hour, like 2 hours away. And, she was coming down and I wasn't going to be able to be home because I was at work, and my boyfriend wasn't going to be able to be home because he was at work as well and she was not working at the time. And I had asked her to wait for my sister so that she could open the door for her and let her in. And she was like, oh, I can't, I'm busy. Turns out she just wanted to stay at her boyfriend's house. And my sister had even texted her. And my sister literally told her that she would have to stay and sleep in her car for like 2-3 hours until one of us were able to come home and open the door for her. And this had been like weeks building up. We've had several fights, and it was just boiled down to her not thinking. I also did not like her boyfriend at the time because he was racist and homophobic, to the point that literally our entire friend group did not like him and was just like literally ignored him to the best of our ability. So that was also a huge like catastrophic thing. And also keep in mind she's been dating this boy for maybe a few weeks. So I went off on her and yelled at her, and she called me intimidating, and it was just a whole mess, right? So then, like maybe a week or two after that, my dad ended up passing, and I wanted just a get together with all my friends to kind of like get everything off my chest, to not think about it. And my friend had gotten me flowers because my dad just died, right? So, basically during this little get together, she calls me to go up to her room. I go up to her room, and this was, keep in mind, like 48 hours after my dad literally died in my arms. she was telling me about how she feels like a horrible classmate, a horrible student, a horrible coworker, a horrible girlfriend, a horrible friend. And then she tells me that she feels like a horrible daughter because she's not calling her dad enough. And like, what do I even say to that? You know? And then later on, so probably like the next day, my flowers are on the kitchen table. She puts them outside, and this happened a few weeks ago. So where I am, the summers are incredibly hot. You probably know from being in Florida, but genuinely, like, catastrophically hot. So, she had put my flowers outside. Obviously, they freaking wilted as soon as they went outside. Basically killed my flowers that my friend had gotten me not even 12 hours beforehand. And then, she put my flowers outside because she claimed that there was, like, bugs on them. And then her boyfriend, the racist and homophobic one, as we said earlier, came in, got her flowers, and she put them in the vase and put them in the same exact spot that she put her flowers in, right? Or where she had removed my flowers. So, I had brought this up to her a few weeks later, and she basically, at this point, she had broken up with this boyfriend. She threw it in my face that she'd broken up. She's like, well, if it makes you feel better, me and so-and-so broke up. Okay. And then she told me that she has problems with me more than any of her other friends because I think about things too much. Which I obviously did not tolerate. So I told her that, you know, it's not me not thinking about things too deeply. It's you not thinking about things enough, girl, because we had this problem several times. And she only apologized when I had reversed the roles and explained the exact situation that she did to me as if she was me and I was her. Right. That's the only way that she apologized and realized that she did something wrong. So here's really where I need advice. So after that, she ignored me, like just completely ignored me, did not say a single word to me, but is talking to my boyfriend, like going out of her way to talk to my boyfriend. And we had a group of friends over. She had said hi to every single person but me, to the point where my friend was like, what the fuck is wrong with her? And to the point where my friend was like, what the hell? And my boyfriend eventually texted her saying that that was mean to do. And that's really the only time I feel like personally that he's like stuck it up for me in this situation. I love my boyfriend so much. We've been together for 2 years. He is my number one supporter. Like, I love him so much. Like, I'm going to marry that man. He just hates conflict, and I'm okay with conflict. So, that's kind of where I am with that. And also, she had been texting, like, some of our mutual friends, telling them that I exiled them, that I just exiled her and was basically spreading a conspiracy theory to our entire friend group, saying that, like, just to not be her friend, right? Even though every single person had stopped being her friend because her boyfriend was racist and homophobic. Yeah, so basically my question is, my advice is, do I talk to her about this? Do I tell her to stop being weird? Do I tell her to be like, hey girl, can you stop? Like, everyone's not your friend because of your life decisions, which I've already told her before, like, months ago. When we initially told her that we didn't like her boyfriend and she chose to stay with him. And also defended all of his actions. Do I talk to her and tell her that, or do I just let it be? The only thing is I've been letting it be, just like keep the peace in the house. Kind of just like to not create more conflict because I know that's really hard on my boyfriend. It just sucks because, like, I know that gives him so much anxiety, and he is very, very anxious person, and he has been really, really trying to step out of his comfort zone, and I'm really proud of him for texting her. It's just to the point, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I talk to her. I don't know if I just try to let it be and keep it, hurt me even more. I don't know what to do. Again, please use a voice recorder. And again, love your channel so much. I'm so sorry I talked so long. Try to speed it up. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Okay, ew, sorry, but you should not be friends with that girl anymore. Honestly, I feel like this is the type of person that's not going to understand, like, even if you have a conversation with her, it's like wasting your breath, because no matter what you say, she still doesn't get it through her head. And like, you have to literally walk her through like how to be empathetic and like how do you put yourself in someone else's shoes. Like, you shouldn't have to do that with someone. It seems like you should just distance yourself from her. And if you like have to live with her for now, just being like civil and being like on fine terms, but not getting involved with her or having like a deeper relationship or conversations with her. Just be like nice and civil and live your life, and like just kind of separate yourself from her, honestly. Because I was gonna say like, yeah, maybe you should have like a long conversation with her and get everything out in the air and everything out in the open and just explain everything to her, and then that's like the last conversation that you have. But it doesn't even sound like that would help at all. Like, it just genuinely sounds like she would still like deflect and not even understand what she's doing wrong in the situation. And she seems like extremely selfish, and like if stuff isn't revolving around her, then she needs to make it revolve around her or whatever. And yeah, like she just seems to say her issues are everyone else's issues. Like, the reason, like, she's not taking responsibility for anything that she does. So she's never going to, probably, for the most part, until maybe it will take like years for her to understand. Maybe at a certain point in her life she will, but I genuinely feel like it would just be a waste of time to even have a conversation with her, because you've already given so much energy to her and already tried to explain so much to her, and you shouldn't have to, because you're not her fucking like little babysitter that needs to like explain everything to her for in order for her to get it. And then she finally comes to the conclusion because you explained the situation to her. Like, that's actually insane for her to like not just be able to think through situations herself. I don't know how old you guys are, but it does sound like maybe she's just like not emotionally there yet. Like, she's just not emotionally mature enough yet to understand. Because when you're younger, you do make like crazy life choices, and not everyone does, obviously, but a lot of people will end up regretting that later on. Like, she might end up being like, in a couple years down the line, be like, oh my God, like, why did I treat her like that? Why did I treat my friend like that? And also, maybe she'll finally understand. But also, some people never come to the conclusion that it was their fault, and they never understand that it was their fault. Like, there are some things that I think about, like in college or in high school, that I did, or maybe like certain ways that I acted towards friends or just in general, that I'm like, at the time I didn't understand fully, but now that I'm older and that I can like fully work through and process things with like emotional maturity, I understand, and like I take accountability for things that I have done before, like maybe reasons that friendships have ended. Yeah, there are a lot of things that maybe both, you just like, as you get older, you take more responsibility for things that have happened in the past. You can be like, okay, I understand why that happened. Or there are situations where I'm like, no, I stand on that. But yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it can go either way. Like, maybe in the future she'll realize, or maybe she'll never realize, because sometimes like I know people that still don't take responsibility for their actions at the ripe age of like 50 years old or 40 years old. And like, yeah, sometimes that's just what happens, and you'll be grateful that you separated yourself from them and you ended up putting yourself first. But weird of her. She's gotta chill out. And hopefully, if you just like take a break from her and separate yourself from her, just act civil and keep the peace, then nothing more will happen. But I'm also wondering how that's gonna work with. Is she still? I don't know if you said. I know you said like some of your friends aren't really friends with her anymore. Is Is it the case where like you have to hang out with her because she's a part of your friend group, or what? Like, is it possible for you to take a step back from her and not really be friends with her, but just be civil roommates with her and keep the peace? Or is this something that's like you have to hang out with her because she's a part of your friend group? Because if that's the case, then I don't know. I still feel like you could honestly just like keep the peace and just like, I've had to do that before when I've realized like, oh yeah, well, because not everyone in your friend group you're gonna be like the closest with. I've had friend groups before where like, yeah, there's one person in it that I'm just like, ugh, I literally don't like you at all, but like, okay, fine, I'll just like be nice, and we're never gonna get closer. I'm never gonna ask you to hang out separately, like outside of this group of friends, you know? So I feel like you could probably just do that, honestly, even though you guys are roommates, so it does make it a little bit more complicated. But if anyone else has any advice, comment down below and let me know. Also, I'm so sorry for the loss of your dad. That's so hard, and I cannot believe the way that she acted with, that's crazy, with the flower stuff. Also, bugs on flowers. Like, first of all, what bug? What was it? Like, is it gonna kill you in your sleep? I'm so confused. That's a crazy excuse. So you've never had flowers before? Like, also, I've gotten flowers so many a times, and like, never have I ever had a problem with having bugs on the flowers. Not saying that could never happen, but it's just like, if it did, okay, what kind of bug is it? Is it really like you have to put it outside? No, she was obviously doing that just to be a little bitch to you. And that's crazy. You got flowers because your dad passed away and she puts them out. Ugh. Ew. You're actually insane. I'm scared of you. But anyways, thanks so much for calling. I love you so much. I hope that helped. And if it didn't, I hope other people can offer some better advice in the comments. But again, if you guys ever want unprofessional advice from me, or if you have a confession, the number that you can call and leave a voicemail is 561-264-7017. That's the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, please press the subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Seriously, you're the best. Bye.
Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.